Hello everyone, how's everyone doing today? Am I on? Great. My name's Amy Miller. I'm the artistic director of the Transcendence Theater Company. I've met many of you, and I just want to say a big thank you to Oakmont. Has been such a support for all of us. We're entering our second season at the park, and you guys have just been wonderful. And happy 50th anniversary to all of you. This is a big day. This is the first symposium we've ever spoke at. So we're very excited to be here. I wanted to have, my name's Amy Miller. I mean, one of the things besides singing a number of songs for you today is we really wanted to tell you the journey of how we've ended up in Glen Ellen, because it's a very serendipitous, magical, meant-to-be journey. And the word transcendence actually means excelling or surpassing or going beyond the usual limits. And we've started a journey, kind of a quest that started about 7 years ago that has led us here. And we're so grateful to be here, and we're going to tell you a little bit about that story. But a little bit of background on me. I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. My greatest passion in life has been musical theater, and then I'm just really excited about life in general, too. And I fell in love with musicals. My grandparents, they lived next door to me and in Cincinnati, and I fell in love. We watched The Music Man when we were on vacation one time, and I kept asking them night after night after night, can I watch it? So for a straight week, every night, we watched The Music Man together. And I just fell in love with musicals because they kind of express the joy of living. And you're so excited about life that now you have to sing it, now you have to dance it, now you have to act it. So I really love musicals, and my background was in musical theater. I moved to New York. I was lucky enough to be in the Broadway production of 42nd Street. I did national tours, and then ended up in LA doing lots of TV and film and commercials and lots of wonderful things. And about 7 years ago, we got this idea for the theater company. And I'll tell you a little bit later how that started, but I wanted everybody to introduce themselves right now so we could show members of our team. This is my husband.
Is this on? Oh, it's on. How you guys doing? My name is Brad Sorosky. Oh, Into the Light. I should know that. I'm Brad Sorosky. I am Amy's husband. I'm also a co-executive director of the Transcendence Theater Company with Steven. And am I supposed to talk a lot about myself?
You can just say a little bit.
I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. And yes, Baltimore. I lived in New York for a while, went to college there. Yeah. and then lived in LA, and now we're here and making magic happen, and we're so grateful to be here, and thanks to Oakmont. You guys have been amazing. Everybody here has been amazing. But yeah.
What Brad didn't mention is that he's been in TV and movies. He's worked with many people that you would recognize. So he's actually a very accomplished actor as well.
I don't.
But he won't sign autographs right now. Just kidding. So I'm Steven Stubbins. I am the co-executive director with Brad, and so proud to be a part of this team. I also grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, down the street from Amy Miller, but we never met until New York. We graduated high school from the same year. It's crazy. But somehow our paths were meant to kind of all cross and come together to build this. I actually grew up singing to the houses. I walked to school all the way from from first grade to 8th grade, and I would sing to the houses. And that's when my parents and myself discovered that I was going to be a singer. I wanted to be a singer. And then I had the great luck and the great joy of getting to sing an opening act solo for Frank Sinatra when I was in high school. And I had been listening to Frank Sinatra tapes, like, walking around my room trying to imitate his voice, and then one day they're like, you're gonna sing for this guy. So from there, and then I had a professional career. I ended up doing a lot of things, working for Disney a lot, working around the country, and ended up on Broadway and Mary Poppins. And then this dream appeared. And so I'll kind of leave it at that. But I'm so thrilled to be here. We're all excited to be here with you guys. So I'll pass you on to Leah Sprecher.
Hello, everyone. I'm Leah Sprecher. I guess we've been talking about how we got involved in theater in general. I grew up in Big Bear, California, in the mountains. And then I went on to, before that I lived in Long Beach, and my parents took me to see Phantom of the Opera. And that's when I fell in love with theater when I was 11 years old. Listened to that cast album on loop. And then I went to college at UCLA for musical theater. And then I spent UCLA! went to New York and I did a lot of tours, and I toured with 42nd Street, I toured with Happy Days the musical, I did Radio City Christmas Spectacular, and then I came back to LA to do the Groundlings. I performed at the Groundlings Theater in Los Angeles, sketch comedy and improv for a while there, and of course, through the years I've been involved with Transcendence Theater Company. And is that it?
That's it.
Oh, and I'm doing a solo show this year as part of our Transcendence Artist Series, which is in conjunction with our Broadway Under the Stars series in the park. But I'm doing my own one-woman cabaret show at the Benziger Barn. And it's on August 13th. So if any of you guys want to come, that'd be wonderful. And I'm excited to be here. Yeah, here's Nicole.
Thank you, Leah. Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole Manji, and I am from Kenosha, Wisconsin. And like Amy Miller, I was obsessed with the movie The Little Mermaid. Who here has seen that movie? Anyone? The Disney movie? I had the entire movie memorized. I mean, Ariel's lines, Prince Eric, Ursula, everybody. I watched that movie all the time, and I just wanted to be able to sing and dance and perform. So that led me on my journey to pursue theater. I went to college in St. Louis and studied musical theater, and then I moved to New York City, like every person does, to pursue this business, like fresh off the boat, suitcase in hand, like here I am. And I had a wonderful adventure in New York. I performed in the Broadway company of Gypsy with Patti LuPone, and also did lots of national tours and wonderful regional theaters. And then I just moved to the West Coast to LA to pursue my dreams of being on TV and working with Transcendence. I performed in the shows last year, and I'm so excited to be here this year. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Welcome to the symposium.
Thank you. It's great to be at the symposium. Hi, my name is Robert Pacharka. I'm originally from Syracuse, New York. I'm the general director here with Transcendence Theater Company. I've been with everybody here since 2009. I'm originally from Syracuse. I went to school in Buffalo, so I went from upstate New York. Okay, moving on. So I wasn't going to share a story about why we're here, but I guess I'll tell a little bit why I'm in theater. It all started in middle school when a friend of mine got kicked out of the musical because he couldn't memorize his lines. And I was begged to come in and learn his part, and when I did, the director kissed my shoes and said I was brilliant, and that's it. So here I am, all these years later. For Transcendence, I play piano a lot. You'll actually see me playing piano later today. And I do a little bit of performing and directing. So I'll be directing 3 of the shows in the Broadway Under the Stars series, as well as performing in 1. So that's it. Thank you.
So I just wanted to introduce you to everyone, and you may be wondering, how did all of us end up performing in a field, in a park? After having these we're still having these great, incredible careers, but I have to tell you, it was 2007, after achieving all these heights of what everybody deems a success in our field, I was left with some of those, those soul-searching questions. Like, what would you attempt to do if you knew you couldn't fail? How could you be of more service to the world? And really this deep yearning that more was possible in life, and that you wanted to be living life like full force. And there was this moment, actually the whole name of our company, it was named after this moment in dance that I called Transcendence. It was literally this moment where I just felt free. I've often described it as the runner's high, or what sports players call in the zone, but to me it was like the state of feeling most alive. So I was on this quest to be like, well, how can I live a transcendent life? And came up with this idea of, really answering those questions of what kind of art do we want to give to the world, and a vision for a theater company came into being. And, it was one of those things, that you're like, well, how is this even going to happen? This is like impossible. And I read this quote. I don't know if you guys know this quote. It's the famous playwright Goethe, the German playwright. And I read this quote, and it said, "Until one is committed, there is a hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, that ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never have otherwise occurred. A whole stream of events, issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance which no man could have dreamed would have come his way. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now. So that quote changed my entire life. And you have a dream and you don't know how it's going to happen. And I want to share the story very quickly with you of how we've ended up in Glen Ellen, California, because it's a pretty magical story that all stems out of commitment to this quote. And taking action, which is a big thing. So I had this idea in like 2007, and I was like, well, what kind of action can we take? And I was taking action, like buying the domain name for Transcendence Theater and just visioning things. And as the story goes, in 2008, I put the vision on a videotape, top secret, that was sent to 5 of my friends. They got an envelope that said top secret. And it was me talking for how many hours?
It was an hour and a half.
At least an hour and a half of me talking about a theater outdoors under the stars, a healthy company culture, transcendence, the whole thing. And, and 5 people got this video and they were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. That's gonna take 10 years. Like, what do you know? And I kind of doubted myself for a little bit, but then I always remembered the quote and I was like, well, let's keep taking action. And as the story goes, because all we're doing is talking about Transcendence Theater, we went on a random vacation to Mexico, a little town called Punta Banda in La Bufadora, Mexico, about 2 hours from San Diego, if any of you have ever been. We call it Magic Land. It's incredible. And as we drove into that town, there was a theater on the side of a dirt road doing Nonsense the Musical in Mexico. And it was called the Gertrude Perlman Theater. And I was like, well, that's weird. I made some joke, if all fails in LA, we can move down here and do shows or something. And we went, we had a great trip and everything. And this is actually all on videotape because we've been shooting this really cool documentary for years about this story. But we got slingshots from the market there, and we slingshotted our dreams off the mountains of Mexico. Because we were like, okay, we'll send the thoughts out there. We're going to slingshot it out there. And all we were doing was talking about Transcendence Theater. And as the story goes, there was a lot of retired Americans that live in that community. We went to return the key to the lady in the town. I asked her about the theater. And she said she did everything in the theater. I said, that's weird. We're starting a theater company. We have an idea for a project. And she said, well, you should bring your friends down here and do shows. And we had this idea for a project, and this community in Mexico gave us their theater for free for 4 months in 2009. That's what started our whole company. So it was like, this moment happened, we committed to it, and that's when a lot of people got into the picture, right? So many of these people, some who we weren't even friends with, actually, at the time, we put the vision out there, and we came down, we did this project in Mexico. It was about kind of like engaging how you can engage a community more in theater. We worked with orphanages, we worked a lot in the town. We were also working on how we could be the healthiest and happiest artists that we could possibly be. And this project was an incredible success. Does anybody want to chime in real quick on the success of that project?
Yeah, it was really great because we had 14 artists who came down. And what we would do is, first of all, we would just get together and have conversations about things. Stuff that we wouldn't really necessarily get to do in the city or together. And but the projects that Amy was mentioning, like working with the orphanages, as artists, you're used to doing, a Broadway show or a big touring house where 1,000 people will come in, 1,000 people will leave, and then you have no connection with those people. You go back to your dressing room, you go back home, but you feel like you're doing something with your art, but there's some deeper piece that's missing. And I remember our first day, we go to this orphanage and we're singing when we're playing with these kids, and everybody's just feeling this energy. And some people said it was the most, their favorite thing they've ever done in terms of touching the lives of these kids with our art. And then we created an original show for these kids and created a video that you can actually find on YouTube under our account, where it's inspiring these kids to follow after their dreams. We have all these quotes on it, we show pictures of them, and we did a special presentation for them. And all of a sudden now, us as artists, we feel so much more fulfilled by that than we've ever felt just doing a show. And the crazy thing about that was then all of a sudden we started doing these things with the community too. We did a thing where we, for Earth, it was called Earth Hour. Do you guys know what Earth Hour is? Anybody? Where you turn off they try to get everybody in the world to turn off their lights for 1 hour. So we built a performance around that for the community where we had a performance that was kind of themed with the Earth Hour. During Earth Hour, we brought everybody up on stage, and via candlelight, we had a discussion with the entire community that came. And then the next day, we led a beach cleanup with the community. And all of a sudden, we were profoundly moved by this. And then when we would do our show tunes or do a musical or sing a song, all of a sudden there was this other energy there that we'd never felt before. And as a group, we would feel this energy too. So that's a couple of the things that we experienced down there,
Yeah.
and how it kind of changed our lives.
It really changed our lives. It was one of the most, I mean, all life happy, but one of the most happiest, most grounded points of life, and we knew we had to take the vision to the next level, is what we knew. So and we needed to take it to a bigger level. So, the same with commitment. It's like, how do you make these impossible things come true? And we came back in 2009. It was at the time when the economy had collapsed. Theaters were closing across America. People weren't going to theater. Many theaters were shutting down. The nonprofit business models that are used to support theater were collapsing. So we're like, well, we don't want to use the same model. We want to come up with something different. And we're like, well, we just don't know enough information yet. So we decided, it was called Project Knowledge was our next project. 6 of us hopped in RVs, 2 RVs, and we brought our dog Junior with us, and we ran around the country on an interview tour. We interviewed over 450 people participated in our project. We interviewed the nation's top artistic directors. We saw different models of theater. We went to colleges and universities, and we were having listening tours of what was working, what wasn't working, how can you engage audiences, and it was an incredible experience. And then we were also on search for a location for our company, a place we wanted to settle, where we wanted to call home. And when we were going around in these RVs, we hit the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. How many people have been up there? It's pretty awesome, huh? Yeah, it's awesome. It took 80 years to build that to what it is. Actually, the first 15 years of that theater existing, no one got paid anything. 15 years of working to build something. It was centered around a community, which is something we really, really wanted. And it was also it was a destination town. There was a lot of traffic from the local community and from around. And when we came driving down, we hit, and Brad, yes he did, my husband, planned more days in wine country. He had a good feeling about wine country, right? We always knew we wanted to be in Northern California, but he had a good feeling about it. And we hit wine country and we're like, this is amazing, because there's so many levels of our company, things we believe in, from our passion for the environment. We love slow food movement. I don't know if any of you are into that. There's all these things that we're into, and wine country we're like, this is it, and it's already a tourist destination. And so then it was like, okay, well, let's commit, let's take the dream to the next level. All these things completely, it's not this happy journey the whole time. It's literally a lot of doubt goes into this, and how's this all gonna happen? We went back to Los Angeles, and we would meet every Thursday, and we would vision what this theater company was gonna be. And we had to choose between Napa and Sonoma, so we'd come up on little trips and literally drive around looking for land and seeing where we could do this. And we chose Sonoma because that felt more the feel that we wanted. And then it was all a plan of okay, well, how do we had no money. We weren't going to have $1 million to buy a winery. How are we going to make this happen? And so we just started taking action. We were like, you research this, and you research this, and you research this. And I was always curious why this didn't exist here yet, why there wasn't already this outdoor season of theater in wine country. And Brad actually called, and I wish we could thank the guy, we don't know who it was, somebody about event regulations. And we found that due to sound and county event regulations, you couldn't actually have a season of theater outdoors in Napa or Sonoma. You could have a weekend of shows, like at BR Cone or everything, and you could bounce from winery to winery, but we wanted a place that you could call home. And the guy on the phone talked to Brad for 45 minutes and was like, this is such a good idea, wine and picnicking and Broadway outside. And he says, you know what, this doesn't apply on state land. And I was researching, I always follow the clues. This has been a very serendipitous journey. I was researching outdoor theaters across America, putting reports together actually. I was sitting in front of my computer and saw that many of them started in parks. I was like, this is weird. And I remember state land, state parks, type it in on the internet. There's gotta be a park in Sonoma that could have land for a theater. They were all closed. It was the day after the park closures in California were announced. And I was like, well, they're all closing. And I was like, how are they all closing? And we heard a podcast by Ruth Coleman, who was the former head of California State Parks, said they were looking for innovative ways to keep the parks open. It was going to be whoever stepped up to the plate. And I was like, we're finding land for a theater. And we hopped in 2 days after hearing that, on Memorial Day weekend 2011, Steve and Brad and I hopped in the car and we drove up here to find land for a theater in Sonoma. And we met Ranger Neil and Ranger Bob at Annandale State Park. And they talked to us for like an hour, so excited. They're like, musicals, wine, picnicking, you gotta go to Jack London. There used to be film festivals there, and I don't know if many of you saw Hello Dolly, I think, was done there at a time. And he's like, you gotta go there. And we went over to Jack London, and we saw the big field there, and we're like, we can do theater here. But when we walked into those ruins, if you all walked in, it was like, wait a minute, and this is all on videotape too. You know, we're like, it's like enclosed. It's like you could see people and space, and like you could fit so many people in there. And we're like, just instantaneously, out of nowhere, it was like we were given another pathway just when the theater appeared in Mexico. And obviously there's a lot of, it's like the government was involved in this and all these different things, but I wrote immediately when we got back, the superintendent of the parks, he said if he had gotten our email the week earlier, he never would have even responded. But because it was timely, because the parks were closing, he said this is a good idea. So we were sending all these papers and reports, and he's like, you gotta test this out. And I was like, we have to test this out? And he's like, you gotta do a show. And I was like, oh gosh, that's crazy. So in 5 weeks, we had 5 weeks. We weren't even from this town or community. We had 5 weeks to pull off this show. And I don't know was anybody there October 1st, 2011? When people were there on October 1st, 2011. We were told that nobody was gonna come, They were like, what are you doing? No one's gonna come. It was a fundraiser for the park, and 900 people came that night. 900 people came that night. Against all odds, they were there. Because this is another part of the story, you probably heard me told this before. Every morning I would wake up and I would say, if you build it, they will come, starting in 2007. And that changed very quickly into, if we build it, they will come. And so literally now, and very serendipitously, as I always say, we have ended up in a field of dreams. It's literally a field. And it's awesome, and we built this together. And so 900 people came that night, and that gave people a taste of what the season could be. Then our contract didn't go through with California State Parks and Valley of the Moon Natural History Association until April of last year. If you remember, our first concert was Dream the Impossible Dream. There was not a lot of time, but through I just know it's all meant to be because over 7,500 people came. Everyone's supporting it. There's so many people have joined together to build this, and it's just the very beginning. So we're entering into our second season. We are so grateful to everyone, and it's just the tip. The vision of Transcendence is even much larger than the Broadway Under the Stars concerts. But knowing this year we have over 17 performances that are going to go on in the park, knowing that we're playing a part in helping to save that park from closure, and also inspiring people to go beyond the usual limits, to experience transcendence in their own lives. And we have a kids camp that we're working on. Which sold out this year, and we just have an incredible season, and we're so excited to be here and to continue this adventure with all of you, and one day to build something that's known around the world, just like the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, but something that's unique to Sonoma, something that's unique with the mission of our company. And I always look back, I don't know if anybody's been to the Hollywood Bowl. There's these pictures of back, and the Hollywood Bowl was started in the early 1900s. But there's this one picture of this woman standing there in the field, with nothing there. And I just love things that come out of nothing, and things that are historic and that people come together and build together. So that's the story of how we all ended up in Glen Ellen. We have a very big season. I hope you come. There's going to be 4 separate themed concerts. Then we have a whole Transcendence Artist Series. Leah's a part of that as well. And the person headlining it, if you know the 2-time Tony Award winner Sutton Foster, who won for Anything Goes, and Thoroughly Modern Millie, she's doing a night in the park. And also Stephanie Cadman, who was the fiddler tap dancer from last year, she's got her own night. So should we play the video real quick so they can see a little snippet of the shows from last year? It's like just like a 4-minute video. Give you a little taste of what the shows are like, but we are really excited to enter season 2 of Broadway Under the Stars.
I had a dream about you, baby. It's gonna come true, baby. They think that we're through, but baby, I'm limited. My future is unlimited, and I've just had a vision, almost like a prophecy.
Was actually named after a moment in dance that I called Transcendence. It was this moment where you just felt free. To me, it's the state of feeling most alive. And the word actually means excelling or surpassing or going beyond the usual limits. And we are on a mission to build something astonishing, to leave an indelible mark on the world and on people's lives.
Could it be? Yes, it could. Something's coming, something good. If I can wait, something's coming, I don't know what it is, but it is gonna be great.
The night is young, the skies are clear, so why don't we go on singing, dear? It's delightful, it's delicious, it's lovely.
Oh, what a beautiful
you do if you knew you couldn't fail? She said this, ladies and gentlemen: I would do the impossible, like ride a motorcycle over a pool of sharks. And this line's gonna go down in history, Lily, because it's showing us, it's daring all of us to do the impossible, because there's no such thing as an impossible dream. So give it up for Lily, everyone.
You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. No, no, I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one.
Are you excited for season 2? Yeah. Well, Brad has a couple things say. One thing before that, though, and we can say this at symposiums, is, I believe that all of life is a work of art, that all of life is theater, that all of us are artists in this life. And so that's what we went out of Transcendence, that Transcendence is a whole journey, it's a big adventure. And I hope that our company will be a big force of people committing to their adventures throughout life. Because we have this belief that we believe that people who commit to going beyond the usual limits will change the world in extraordinary ways. So I hope that what we're building will leave a very large, indelible mark on the world and touch millions of people's lives one day. So Brad, do you want to?
Yeah, I can. I mean, for you guys who have been to our shows, you know this, but for those of you who have not, our shows, we have the show take place in the winery ruins, but before that, starting at 5 o'clock each evening, we have a pre-show picnic where we bring out it's probably about 5 to 8 different wineries each night, so people can taste wine and get wine, and we also have gourmet food trucks. We have people this year like Girl and the Fig, we have clay oven pizzas that will be there, and some really, like Rosso's Pizzeria is going to be there a bunch of nights. So we have some really good food trucks. So that's really cool. We have pre-show music that's going to be there. And it's a really festive time for the community to come together and for tourists to come and just really enjoy Jack London State Park. So it's really kind of 2 events in one, because that goes on for about 2.5 hours. So we really encourage people to come out earlier. And another reason we really encourage people to come out earlier and it goes back to what Stephen was talking about, what we really learned in Mexico, and it's a core of what we're about, is we have all of our artists working the pre-show picnic. They're out selling drink tickets, greeting people at the box office. Everybody that comes in, that's part of what this is about. And it was one of the coolest things for people to be able to meet the artists and then see them perform on the stage. It's a really neat thing, and it's a neat thing on the other side for the artist to meet the audience. It starts that whole audience-actor relationship, and then by the time you're on the stage, as a performer, you already feel there's this energy that's there. And it was there in Mexico, and that's how it's one of the things that helps form that energy here, and it's really incredible, I think. I know. So that's something. So I definitely encourage people to come early and picnic. You can bring food as well. You don't have to get it from the trucks. And also come as groups. That's one of the things that we found is we're having a lot of groups coming this year. It's a great way to celebrate a birthday or anything, or just to come out and have a picnic with friends and family and then watch a show. You walk into the ruins and the sun is still out. The sun will set during the show, and then the stars come out. And we light up the ruins, we light up the vineyard behind it, and this year we're upgrading a lot of things with the lighting. We're upgrading a lot of stuff with the picnic. We're going to have more picnic tables out there. We're really going to it was our first year, and we learned a lot last year. So I do encourage everybody to come out and enjoy all of that. We have different. I'm just updating you guys on some new stuff we have this year. We have an extra. Last year we just had VIP and general admission. We also have our premium tickets this year. It's a middle level, and with all of this, we also have a thing called the Broadway Wine Circle. What type of theater gets to partner with an industry like this? I mean, we're so lucky to be able to partner with the wine industry in so many ways. And what we're doing this year is all of our nightly wine sponsors, they get to have a wine club event, which is great for us because it brings in people and it also offers a really unique experience for their wine club members. So we're going to have wine club events this year, which we didn't have last year. We're also going to have the Broadway Wine Circle, which is literally, it's a booklet of, say it could be $40 value for the St. Francis Winery complimentary wine and cheese tasting, or $30 at Deerfield Ranch. So it's a whole bunch of different offers. The premium booklet adds up to $385 value, and the VIP is a $500 value. What this is a booklet that goes with each ticket. So you buy a premium ticket, you get the premium booklet. You buy a VIP ticket, you get the VIP booklet. So it adds value to our tickets, which is a really neat thing for a theater company to have. And then it also hopefully draws traffic back to our our wine sponsors and brings them in the doors, which is what they ultimately want, is for people to come in. So that's a really neat thing we have. What else? I'm trying to think of some other things, guys. We can fill in some more stuff later. That's all I can think of right now. But I think they want to do some singing. How do you guys feel about some singing?
All right, so actually we're going to start, Robert Petrarca and I put together a little duet that we're going to start with. We're excited to do.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. What a wonderful world.
The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also the faces of people passing by.
I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I see babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll know much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world alone. And I think to myself, what a wonderful
All right, so now Robert's going to go behind the piano, and we're going to bring out Nicole Manji, who I actually went to college with. It's so funny, like Amy and I grew up in the same town and didn't meet each other. Nicole and I went to college together, and now it's so cool to be here together. So anyway, she's going to sing one of people's favorite songs from last year.
Taylor the Latte. There's a boy who works at Starbucks who is very inspirational. He is very inspirational because of many things. I come in at 8:11 and he smiles and says, how are you? When he smiles and says, how are you? I swear my heart grows wings. So today at 8:11, I decided I should meet him. I decided I should meet him in a proper, formal way. So today at 8:11, as he smiled and said, how are you? I said, fine, and my name's Nicole. And he softly answered, hey. And I told him my name's Nicole, and thank you for the extra foam. And he said his name was Taylor, which provides the inspiration for this poem. He would like the Baptist musical because he plays guitar. And today at 8:11, Taylor told me he was playing with his band down in the village in the basement. triple latte was on him. Taylor, the latte boy, bring me Java, oh bring me joy. Oh Taylor, the latte boy, I love him, I love him, I love him. I used to be the kind of girl who'd run when love rushed toward her. But finally a voice whispered, love can be yours if you step up to the counter and order. Taylor, the latte boy, bring me Java, oh bring me joy. Oh Taylor, the latte boy, I love him, I love him, I love him. So many years my heart has waited. Who'd have thought that love could be so caffeinated? Taylor, the latte boy, I love him, I love him, I love him. I love him, I love him, I love him.
So now Leah and I are actually going to do. We've been requested to do something that was one of our favorite pieces to do. Is mine on? Can you guys hear me on this?
You are? No, you're not.
Are you on?
Turned on, but there we go. Nice. Coming to the light a little bit more. Well, we're actually going to be running around a little bit. So,
We might be scary if we're too close.
so some of you may have seen this, but if you've seen it, just feel free to just sing along, you know? So the whole thing is we wanted to sing a song, to do a duet that everybody would recognize.
And there's so many wonderful duets to choose from. We couldn't pick just one duet.
No, in music theater, there's just like many beautiful duets, right?
So we decided.
Instead of doing one, we're going to do 13. Right? I think we should actually use this space here. Ready? Summer loving had me a blast.
Summer loving happened so fast.
I met a girl crazy for me.
Met a boy cute as can be.
Summer days drifting away to the summer nights. Oh well, anything you can do, I can do better.
I can do anything better than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Yes, I am 16, going on 17. I know that I'm naive. Fellows I meet might tell me I'm sweet, and willingly I believe.
No, you need someone older and wiser telling you what to do. I am 17, going on 18. I'll take care of you.
You are sunlight and I moon joined here, brightening the sky with a
Flame of love.
got a light.
I know you. You're shivering.
It's nothing, they turned off my heat, and I'm just a little weak on my feet. Would you light my candle? Wanna dance?
Shall we dance?
23
On a bright cloud of music, shall we fly? Shall we dance? 1, 2, 3, and on the clear understanding that this kind of thing can happen. Shall we dance? Shall we dance?
Shall we bury the man today, rather than sigh and sorrow? Bury the man today and change his ways, change his ways, change his ways. Tonight, tonight, it all began tonight. I saw you and the world went away. Beyond that road, beyond this lifetime, that car full of home will always gleam, and he will ride. Our sun will ride on the wings of a dream. Oh no! Oh no! Leah! I mean, Ebony! Is it the French air that's... Don't you fret, Monsieur Marius. I don't feel any pain. A little fall of rain can hardly hurt me. I'm here. That's all I need to know. And you will keep with you till you and you will keep me sane. And rain will make the flowers grow. Suddenly see more. Keep purifying me. Suddenly see more. Show me I can learn how to be more. The world that's inside me with sweet understanding. Seymour's your man. Wherever we go, whatever we do, we're gonna go through it together. It's you for me, and me for you. We'll muddle through whatever we do together, wherever we go. Anywhere you go, let me go too. Nothing that's all I ask of you. A beautiful music structure, and then of course Robert Petrarca, I think this is 1990. So I think we're going to say a few more words now. I think first too, something to say too is that one of the exciting things that some of you may know, but some of you might not know, is that we recently signed a contract with the park to be here through 2019. So we're really excited. Our plan has always been to be here, to build our lives and our families and our
You gotta make a commitment, right? We've learned today.
Yes. So we're definitely, we're excited to be here. And actually, myself and Amy and Brad now officially live up here full time. So we're your neighbors as well. So I think right now we're going to show a
Yeah, but
little
more
video.
questions. We just have one more video. Do you think? Good.
She's my boss. So.
We have. It's just we wanted to show you. We have a very short community testimonial video to share with you some of the reactions from the community. So we wanted to play that, and then we were going to open it up to questions. But it's been such a fun. Have you guys been having fun at the symposium today? Yes, that's what I like to hear. I'm always this energetic, by the way. This is just who I am. So Steven's getting it ready.
One of the easiest jobs that I can think of is talking about the Transcendence Theater. My name is Mike Benziger from Benziger Family Winery.
My name is Manuel Martin. I'm with Sonoma Magazine and Sonoma Studio.
Hi, I'm Elisa Stansel, and I live adjacent to the park.
Well, I'm Laura Gallion,
Currently, I sit on the Sonoma City Council.
My name is Joyce Parsons.
I'm Wendy Peterson.
Tina Baldry.
Susan Gorin. Patricia Zwirling.
Martha Hagler.
Hi, I would be Kaz here at the Kaz Winery, and a big supporter of Broadway Under the Stars.
I have to say, anyone who's wondering what kind of an advantage this kind of company could bring to their environment should understand that it's something completely new and completely beneficial. Just about the day it seems like that the parks that were closing were announced in California. I got an email from a woman named Amy with all kinds of exclamation points saying that she would like very much to meet with me because she had an idea for theater in the park.
You talk about synchronicity. Well, this is a real example of it. Just when we were really looking for ways to create excitement, we were able to form a partnership with the theater group that was truly magnificent for this valley.
I really did not know what to expect. But once I was there, and I have to tell you a big secret, but don't tell anybody, that was my first visit to the park in all of these years. The community, I think, has reacted in a very positive way. People right away talk to me, call me, email me, make postings on Facebook and talk about it and say, you know, you had to be there. It was incredible.
Well, I think what I've been feeling and hearing from the community and experiencing myself is that you have brought this new energy into our community, and it matches what I think Sonoma is really all about, this authenticity of people wanting to have this entrepreneurial spirit, where it's a theater company or a small business or a cheesemaker or a winemaker. We have this true artisan community that repeats itself in history. And for you to come and be in such a historic place, our beautiful park, it's like this magic marriage that has again infused new energy into our community.
It was not the props. It was not the theater. It was truly you and what you were giving to the community.
It's just a healing, positive, open, solution-oriented energy.
One of the things I most enjoy is when we first come, the performers are out here greeting us in person, and they're so accessible, and they're like real people. And it's like real people with talent. Wow, this can happen.
I didn't expect them to be greeting me when I came the first time, because I thought they would be in their dressing rooms, preparing themselves, having tea and honey or something for their voices. But they were working.
It was like a gift that I just didn't see coming, and I was so fortunate to be able to be a part of. And now we're excited to go to another show.
I mean, I can't think of a better experience than sitting in those ruins, under the stars, watching the performances that you guys give.
Finding a place under the stars in a rock ruins where you can perform and bring people together, it gives me goosebumps.
My hair has stood up on my arms.
Your life is completely changed by being a member of that audience. I just want to say that it was totally magical.
The whole evening was magical.
Magical. Magic.
Special magical connection.
Awe-inspiring.
Inspired. Marvelous.
Fabulous. I think it's really important that the community continue to embrace the Transcendence Theater Company.
This is an opportunity to be with people who are beginning something.
I am totally looking forward to 2013 to have them back in our hills.
This is a beginning. This is a love affair. And these kids are making it happen.
I get to now shout out to all these people that love coming to our beautiful valley, that there is one more reason why they really have to come here.
Wasn't that great? Having a performance right here Sunday morning.